How did a student almost give you a heart attack? That year, I was lucky enough to have my daughter in my class when she reached 8th grade, but I also had a student named Miles who just couldn't sit still. He constantly bugged the girls, always trying to flirt, and it usually ended with him getting slapped or sent to the office. I had sent him down so many times that the front desk basically expected him every day. Eventually, I moved him to the front of the room just so I could keep an eye on him. One day he asked me if he could sit in the back. He didn't argue or act out, he just asked nicely. For some reason, I said yes. We were in the middle of an assignment and the entire room was quiet. That's when I heard whispering from the back. I looked up and saw Miles showing something to another student. At first glance, it looked exactly like a handgun. I froze. For a second I didn't know if I was seeing it right. Maybe it was a toy or a prop, but I couldn't tell from where I was sitting, and I knew I needed to get a better look without making a scene. I got up to help a student near the back and used that chance to look again. This time I knew for sure. It wasn't fake. It was real. I felt sweat drip down my face. My hands were shaking while I quietly pulled out my phone under the desk and tried to call 911, but the room was too quiet. I couldn't risk saying anything. I couldn't just leave the class either. I had to keep everyone safe. And most of all, I needed to get my daughter out of there. I texted the assistant principal in all caps, telling him exactly what I had seen. Then I waited. I kept glancing at my daughter, trying to keep it together, but minutes passed and no response came. I knew I had to do something. I quietly called over one of the students I trusted and handed her a note I had written. It said, "Ask me to go to the bathroom. Find the assistant principal. Show him this text. Tell him to check his phone and leave the building right away." She nodded and left without a word. I went back to my desk and acted like nothing was wrong. 5 long minutes later, someone knocked on the door. The assistant principal walked in, calm and casual, and started chatting with a couple students near the front. Then he looked at Miles. "Can I talk to you outside for a minute?" Miles looked a little confused but stood up. As he walked past my daughter's desk,